I played Team Fortress for a couple of years, and while I enjoyed it very much, after a while I started to lose interest. The whole game just felt meaningless to me. It just wasn't fun anymore. Delivering the payload wasn't something that raised my heartbeat, even if it was very close at the end. It was just a chore to do. I don't know why, but the game just didn't click with me anymore all of a sudden. And then we heard that Blizzard was working on a new IP called Overwatch, and everybody was losing their shit. Me, I wasn't really interested. Maybe that's because I didn't really like the other Blizzard games that came out, aside from StarCraft. But that game too wasn't something that I played every minute of the day, so I didn't really follow it. But then the beta came around and I saw some footage and it looked a lot like Team Fortress 2. And it looked very interesting. But I never bought it. Even now I haven't bought it. And that's because when I was done with TF2, I was done with the whole genre. All the other games that did something like Team Fortress 2, I just wasn't interested in. So that Overwatch looked interesting to me was a pleasant surprise. But I still didn't pull the trigger, because I was scared that with Overwatch something similar than with Team Fortress 2 would happen, and that I just, in a couple of hours, lose all interest, forever. So I tried to look up if some other people have tried it and have the same feeling as me with Team Fortress 2. But the only thing that I could find was somebody who really liked Team Fortress and what his opinions were on Overwatch, or somebody that just looked at all the differences between the two games. But I couldn't find anyone who was bored with Team Fortress 2 and his opinions about Overwatch. And that's why I made this video, because I really wanted to have that information. So luckily, last weekend there was a free playing weekend and I got around 8 hours in. So let me sum up why I still haven't bought Overwatch. Just for clarification, I'm not gonna go in all the differences between Team Fortress 2 and Overwatch unless it has something to do with how I feel. I know that they are very different, Team Fortress 2 being a shooter with very flexible characters that can do multiple gameplay styles, and Overwatch being a class shooter with many different classes and special powers. But that's not important for this video, so please don't comment on how they are different. I know. So I first did the tutorial, and after that rounds against the AI. Those rounds were very easy, most of them ended up being spawn camp rounds, but it was lots of fun and a good way to learn all the different characters. And that's something that I really liked. Instead of the 9 characters from Team Fortress 2, you have 23 heroes here, so lots more to choose from, although they are less versatile than the Team Fortress 2 characters. If only there was a difficulty selector for the AI games, so you could have a challenge, or at least something else than just a cakewalk. So on to the main mode, quick play for me, because I haven't bought the game, so I couldn't play competitive. I loved it at first, but after 3 hours of play it already started to wear off and I already got bored of it. There again was no reason for me to play it, just like Team Fortress 2. If this game had a single player, or at least a story surrounding everything, then that maybe would have helped a little bit. It would have given you a reason to fight at least. And why there were cutscenes on the internet and not in this game, I really don't know. So I stopped playing the game and the next day I continued. Again playing the main mode and got bored, now even quicker, just after 2 rounds. So I looked up if I could find anything else, and then I saw the arcade. And that turned out to be one of my favorite parts of the game. So you have mystery mode, here you can get a random character to play as when you spawn and when you die. It's really fun, but it can be unbalanced as you can expect. So when you get run over because the enemy just gets the characters that are really good against yours, you quickly not want to play that mode anymore. Then you have the no limits mode. This is the main mode, but with no limits in character selection. So instead only one person being able to play a particular hero, McCree for example, you can have a whole team of McCrees. It is good that this mode is here, but it's not all that different from the main mode, so again I got bored pretty quickly. Next up you have All Brawl. Here you have to play in a specific set of rules that changes every week. This week it was all playing as Roadhog or Lucio. It was fun for a round and something that can get you coming back week after week. But I felt it to be very gimmicky and less fun than the main mode, even after one match. So up until now I've been very negative, But that's all about to change, because the next mode is 1v1. It's a very simple game mode. It's a best of 9 against another player. You both are the same randomly selected hero that changes each round. I really like this because here you can get a reason to play without needing anything else. You just want to be the better player. No random bullshit or 3 against 1. Just your skill against your opponents. And this leads to very cool and tension-filled fights. Here I got the same feeling that I got from playing Counter-Strike, and I loved it. It does have some problems though. Currently there is only one map and some heroes aren't really suited for this game mode. Symmetra, for example, isn't that strong and mostly used for defensive play. So what ends up happening most of the time is that both people are just staying in their base and setting up sentries and just wait. Eventually you are forced to fight because of the time limit, but it is boring and really gets you out of the rush you had from earlier fights. Also, I hope that there would be more settings you could fiddle around with. Like the ability to both choose different heroes or making 30-second rounds so you have to fight immediately and get a really frantic round. Also, you can't fight a friend. Your opponent is completely random. I get that this is not possible to fight a friend because you can farm XP for leveling up, but then do something like Dead by Daylight and just turn off the XP earnings when you fight a friend. And the other mode I really liked is 3v3. It's the same as 1v1 but with 3 different characters, and you can choose them yourself this time. So your opponent can get different heroes than your own team. Because it is very similar than 1v1, it has the same negatives, but instead of not being able to choose your heroes, it is the other way around, so I hope that there will also be a random option. And that is pretty much everything Overwatch has to offer right now. So as you could hear, I was overall pretty bored with the game, apart from the 1v1 and 3v3 mode. So if you were bored by Team Fortress or bored after a while, chances are pretty high that the same thing will happen with Overwatch. But I would buy it if it would be cheaper, like $10 or $15. Not because of the main modes, because I wouldn't even pay $2.50 for them. I'm not gonna play them anymore, so why would I pay for them? But just for the 1v1 and 3v3 modes. And maybe the game will get a lot of arcade modes, just like StarCraft 2 after a while. And it will be more tempting to buy Overwatch. I hope so, because I can clearly see that this is a really good game and I really wanted to like it. If only I didn't have my fail already with Team Fortress 2.